Benny was really afraid of people. You couldn't take him anywhere, you couldn't have people over. He was just like, he would just growl, and he was kind of he never really bit anyone, but he was aggressive, and it really caused us a lot of stress.
Yeah, I would also add that he didn't really come when he was called, or he came when he really wanted to, when the conditions were advantageous to him coming. But if there was literally anything more interesting than us, which are most things, he would not come when he was called. And this led to us never letting him off leash, and there being a lot of tension between people really wanting him to, quote, run free, and us really not wanting him to run free. It actually ruined a birthday in which we took him for an off-leash hike and then lost him for 5 hours.
6.5 hours, actually.
Yeah. What happened before? What used to happen was that our downstairs neighbor would come home from work, and he would kind of like bark, get up, gruff at the door, really make a real fuss. It was just really stressful. Like, going anywhere with him was really stressful. We often like didn't have people over. We didn't really take him on hikes. We didn't really like to have, for us to go take him anywhere.
And you know what? He's a really athletic dog as well. So, you know, when he was off leash, he was able to just like run and run and run and run and run. And having to then, because he didn't have good recall, and because he might just like run off and go and find some humans to bark down, it meant then having him on leash all the time, and he wasn't getting that same level of exercise that he used to.
Yep. I would say the other way it impacted our lives is there was a pretty big question about whether we could adopt kids, because he had shown fear aggression towards kids in particular. I mean, people sort of in general, but especially kids. And we just really didn't have any tools to have him behave around people. We often were just sort of like cross our fingers and hope that he likes the stranger who walks through our door, which is not really a great strategy with a dog. I would say that Benny is a lot more relaxed, which is kind of a surprise. I mean, he obeys the commands we're giving him for the most part, and especially when we're more consistent with his training. And what I didn't expect is that because we were really more directive and structured in his life, he was a lot less stressed in general. And just having a more structured day, he doesn't even really lift a head when our neighbor comes into the door.
Yeah. He's less stressed, and he's less demanding. He's like, he can just kind of chill and be fine, and he just doesn't seem to like worry as much about us and what we're doing and whether or not we are being, you know, protected from the monsters of the world.
Yeah. It has been really nice to go on a hike and in certain situations be able to take him off leash and know where his threshold is, know when he, you know, is kind of pushing the boundaries. Just being able to read him a lot better and having him recall much more consistently, and knowing when we have a certain level of control over him.
Yeah.
I think the things that I'm looking forward to is that with more training, he has a stronger stay in place command, so that doesn't matter who comes in the door, he just like isn't fazed by that. I would love to have people over to our house when the pandemic is done. Having people and we have friends.
And then like, you know, being able to take him on longer walks and have him be off leash for longer. And then we did camp with him recently.
Yeah.
And I think we're really looking forward to doing more of that, because one of the things I noticed when we went camping with him was that at the campsite, he would stay in a downstay, but he was a little bit stressed out because it was an unfamiliar environment for him. But then I was less stressed out because I knew that we had this structure in place where he stays in place, he comes when he's supposed to, and you know, just being able to introduce him to more unfamiliar environments and know that he'll get acclimated to them, and knowing that his stress doesn't necessarily have to also stress us out, because he is taken care of because he's well trained.
Yeah. Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa,
for helping us with the training and for creating a much less stressful environment for all of us.